Palms.
29 Palms. And what's the Marine Corps base there known by?
MCA GCC, Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center.
Okay. And I understand it's in the middle of a desert. What desert is that?
It's in the middle of the Mojave Desert.
So when you got there, was that kind of a turn-off? I imagine your first duty station out in the middle of a big desert must.
Well, and see that's the benefits of having a Marine Corps family. I knew about 29 Palms. I knew I didn't want to go there. That's for sure when I was in SOI, and that was probably the most depressing day of my life in SOI when I found out I was going there. It's the far side of the moon. I mean, there's nothing out there. Now, 3 years later, I realize what a great place it is to a certain extent.
Okay. How much time did you have at 29 Palms? And you said you were, the unit you were with was 3rd Battalion 7th Marines.
Correct.
Lima Company.
Correct.
Okay. And how long was it until you deployed to Iraq? I mean, I just what I'm trying to do is get at how much training did you get before you deployed for your first deployment?
I got to the unit April 19th, and I deployed. I believe it was like September 5th.
Okay, so you
about 4 months.
4 months. So during that 4 months, what platoon, squad, and what was your billet during that time?
During that time, obviously, I was a boot, so I was I was designated as a point man in 1st Squad, 1st Platoon.
And boot, that's what does a boot mean?
New guy, basically.
New guy, okay. So what kind of training did you go? I understand that before y'all deploy, you have different exercises and whatnot.
At that time, we were still doing SASO training.
What's SASO stand for?
No, I don't even know.
Okay. Well, what's the emphasis for SASO training?
It was basically urban environment. We would go to like these abandoned neighborhoods at March Air Force Base and Victorville, and you go and you conduct operations in an urban environment for a week or two at a time.
Oh, was the SASO training at March Air Force Base? Was Victorville separate from that, or was it?
It was separate. It was 2 different events.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about SASO training. What did you come away from that? Was it actually helpful on Iraq, or was it just kind of a complete waste of time? Because I know sometimes you have stateside training that doesn't really match up to what you see in
SASO was pretty. It had its good things and it had its bad things. It was good getting some guys being able to patrol through an urban environment, dealing with buildings. It's really good for training guys on like mount technique, clearing rooms, and that sort of thing.
Mount, that's just
military operations, urban terrain.
Okay.
It's good on that sort of thing, and however, like the scenarios weren't very good. I don't think a lot of like they had like reservists come in and be role players, and it was kind of like if they were working, they were working. If they weren't, like they weren't. So it was rough, but
y'all didn't have any of the Iraqis there at that time. I know I understand they actually were hiring a bunch of Iraqis who were hired as role players, so there wasn't any Iraqis.
I didn't see any at that time. That was 2005. I didn't see much of them, or any of them actually. But you know, 37's always been pretty good. You get out of training what you put into it. So 37's always been pretty good about pulling something away from everything.
Okay, so 37 is actually a good battalion.
37's a badass battalion.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that with us. You were saying Victorville. I've actually heard Marines talk about Victorville, and a lot of times they say that's the best training they received. What were your feelings or take home from Victorville? Where is Victorville anyway? Is that just the name of a town? Or?
Yeah, it's the name of a town. It's, I think, about an hour outside 29 Palms somewhere.
So it's not even on a military reservation, is it?
I don't think so. No, I mean, it was okay. I mean, you do what you can, you know. I mean, you're stateside. Obviously, you can't shoot at Marines, and you can't put them completely in an environment like Ramadi. So I know everyone's working with the best assets that they have available. I would say comparing that year of work up to this year, though, this year was 10 times better. So, you know, maybe I'm just a little jaded now looking back. But I mean, you know, you reap the benefits, like, you know, like I said, urban patrolling, things like that, like things I didn't know much about at the time. Like that's where I learned those skills.
Okay, so while you were at Victorville, y'all were just practicing patrolling, and
Correct.
Okay.
Coordinate knocks, coordinate searches.
So they were actually buildings and stuff you got trained at, or?
Correct. Yeah, it was like a abandoned any suburban town basically.
Oh, so Victorville's actually wasn't even populated. There was.
Well, yeah, and I don't know. I think Victorville's a town, and then there was a section of town that was designated for the military training or something like that.
Okay. Was it good training or decent training compared to Sasso at March?
I'd say it was good training. It was good training.
But it was just a step or two above Sasso.
Yes.
So from that point, did y'all have any? I believe they call combined arms exercise, CAXs. Did y'all?
Right. At that point, they were doing what they were calling RCAX, revised combined arms exercise. And go out to the desert for a couple weeks and do combined arms, which
Combined arms. Could you just briefly explain what combined arms is?
Basically, just more of your traditional military operations. You have an objective. You have your infantry. You have your artillery hitting. You have your close air support coming in. As you get closer, the mortars stop. Your fires cease. Your infantry cease the objective. Much more traditional, more like World War II tactics.
Okay. So more conventional warfare.
Yeah, conventional. That's the word I was looking for.
Okay,
absolutely.
So nothing like you've seen here.
No, not in Iraq.
Okay.
But still a good tool. Like, I hope they never get rid of cats. Like, because you never train for the war that you're in or whatever. You train for the one that's next. So who knows? Well,
I talked to Marines who actually deployed before OAF-2, and the one you deployed on, I am calling OAF-3 because I'm just counting the times that the battalion 37s deployed to Iraq.
Right.
I understand the Marines, and what I mean by OAF is Operation Iraqi Freedom. They were saying that they didn't really get much weapons firing training prior to going on OAF-2 because the higher command assumed that there wasn't going to be much fighting. Was that the case before you went on OAF-3?
Absolutely not. No. And that's a great thing. That's one of the great things about 29 Palms. 29 Palms is hundreds of miles of training ground, live fire ranges. So it's very easy for 7th Marines to go out, get ranges, and get the Marines shooting live fire. We shot all the time.
Okay. So unlike the pre-deployment for OAF-2, the lessons, I guess, taken away from the actual fighting, y'all went back to a lot of range firing and whatnot.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, and I don't know what the situation was prior to OAF-2, so yeah, but we did a lot of live firing.
Okay. Was there anything else that perhaps we're missing or that for historical reference would be important for people in the future to know about the training prior to going to Iraq? Oh, I never got your platoon commander and squad leader.
Oh, my platoon commander at the time was Lieutenant Laracy, Walt Laracy.
Walt Laracy, okay.
He came to the unit right before Victorville, actually. And then my squad leader, my first deployment was Sergeant Young.
And he deployed with y'all?
Correct.
Okay. So, so is there anything that perhaps we missed? Going all the way back to the beginning.
Like the Marine Corps started, that's one thing, I think, and I'm not really sure what the genesis is, but that's, like, we had Marines going to Arabic classes, we had Marines going to combat lifesavers courses, and these were like all just side things. Like, you would kind of be detached for a couple weeks, and all you would do is go to Arabic classes for like a month. And then another guy would detach, and he would go to combat lifesavers for like a month. So they were doing all these side classes as well to prepare, try and spread the skill set throughout the battalion.
Okay. So in a sense, that helped out quite a bit. I assume being able to speak just a little bit Arabic helps out quite a bit here.
Quite a bit.
Okay. Well, if you have nothing else to share, I guess we're done with the background and we'll stop the interviews. Like I said, is there anything else you want to...
No, I don't think so.
Okay, all right. Thank you.